Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you, so let's begin. My wife loved animals and worked with them every day at a pet store rescue center. We lived over an hour away from a large zoo. I was surprised we didn't go to the zoo more often. We had only been there twice, and the last time was years ago. Work kept us busy, so we didn't usually take trips out of town. Led into our marriage. My wife started spending even less time at home, claiming she was working overtime because her boss was sick. Then there were other random excuses until I just accepted that I could only see her before bed. Każdy den ina weekendak. She always made me feel like everything was great between us, and that she was happy with our relationship. One day while she was at work, she texted me, "I can't wait to see you," but she quickly corrected it to, "Honey, it was weird," because she never called me that, even though it was weird. Ja nie somnaviasis. Что я планировался surprise trip to zoo v meste nazyvacia Garden Eden, Kotori Melkayet. I woke her up with breakfast in bed and told her to call off because I had a surprise for her. She was inconvenienced and said she would get in trouble for calling off. I asked how that was возможно, если вы не должны действовать в течение дня. In years, she was stumped, so she gave in and said she'd text her boss. She was blindfolded in the car, but only for a few minutes because she was too anxious to play along. This wasn't going at all how I pictured when she saw the sign for the zoo. She looked like her worst fears were confirmed. I asked her why she looked so upset. She just changed her expression, trying to seem excited. When she got out of the car, I caught a glimpse of her phone's lock screen with a preview of her boss's reply to her call-off text. It said, "This is the 5th time this month." My wife had already called off work 5 times this month. I was shocked and confused. There was another text pre-you, but I couldn't read that one before my wife grabbed her phone. I didn't even know how to bring this up, so we just went along with our zoo visit as we walked around and watched animals. It seemed like she was looking for something else. Her eyes lit up when she finally caught sight of what she was searching for. She did everything she could to steer me in the opposite direction. I was confused and turned around saying, I knew she wanted to pet the giraffes. That's when a young man who worked at the zoo approached us, calling my wife by name. He was confused and looked hurt. He asked her why she was there and why she was with me. Talk about alarming. My heart was instantly racing, and I told him I was her husband. Her face looked like she wanted to cry, but she was too panicked. He said she was his girlfriend and they'd been dating for the past 9 months. We both looked at her, demanding answers. He just slowly backed up until she started crying and running away. He chased her, but I did not. I was in disbelief. My wife had lied about working to see him. How man times had only lezat verse ostalnia v past 9 months. I can only assume it was many mnogo vremeni. I left the zoo without my wife. When I got home, I threw her stuff out of the house since it wasn't legal for me to lock her out. She returned hours later in an Uber that must have been an expensive ride. She tried to talk to me, but all I told her repeatedly was to get out. That was all I said to her, hoping to quickly diminish any hope she had that I would forgive her for cheating on me. She cried and wailed, telling me she had nowhere to go and that he dumped her at the zoo because he didn't know she was married. I said, "You ne mozet bite pologeno cheloveku, kotori mozet bite vai, esli verse budete iti nachit." My wife didn't have anywhere to go after she packed her car with her damp belongings, so she called the boss that just fired her earlier that day and explained everything. He had an apartment for rent above the pet store, but since she'd called off countless times in the past 9 months, he refused to help her out of this. I snickered to myself. Eavesdropping from the window of the house, my wife drove away and didn't reach out to me again. Even through the divorce, I was bitter that she refused to give me answers or show any remorse for what she did, but I realized she was definitely struggling and suffering through the consequences of what she'd done. Her refusal to contact me actually worked out better for me. I wasn't tempted to rekindle Nashi Ducati long relationship. I kept our home and animals because her friends sent me proof of their affair. He was so upset with her for leading him on while she was married that he wanted to help me prove what kind of person she above losing the animals was even harder for my wife than losing me or her boyfriend. Let this be a lesson to all that cheating never pays off. It only makes you a terrible person that doesn't deserve the things you had with your spouse. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.